Michelle McMullen disappeared on September 28, 2008. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Michelle McMullen's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. Michelle McMullen, an adoring single mother and dedicated student, vanishes on a road trip her family knows nothing about.
Something has happened to her, but we can't find where she is.
This is a missing person. This is a mother. This is someone that people want to find. They care a lot about her.
Her parents feared the worst.
God, I know you know where she is, but help us to find her.
Police dig deep for evidence to explain her disappearance.
If she was in some sort of distress or trouble, we wanted to find her and help her.
They turn up nothing, until her car is discovered abandoned across the state line.
I couldn't understand how it could all happen in front of their eyes and no one have any idea what took place.
But as police work to unravel the mystery, they discover a trail of clues that takes the case in an unexpected direction and leads to an extraordinary conclusion.
And that's when we started to put some of the puzzle together. Well, she may have a reason not to be found.
We believe that something happened to her, but she's hunted down like a criminal.
On the day before she disappears, 27-year-old college student Michelle McMullen leaves her apartment in Ruston, Louisiana, and begins the long 18-hour drive to her hometown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She's bringing her 6-year-old son, Jaden, back to live with her parents. A month earlier, Michelle had moved with Jaden thousands of miles away so she could complete her degree at Grambling State University in Louisiana.
She was very serious. She was taking online courses. When it got close to the time for her to complete her studies, they told her she had to go to school there in order to finish.
She has been a very dedicated mother. Jaden has been pretty much her life. She's spent most every waking moment caring for him. She focuses most of her activities around him.
And as a determined student, Michelle is intent on forging a better future for her and her son.
Michelle was a very attentive and a very focused to identify, how she needed to move forward in most things in her life.
But when Michelle arrives at school, she is stunned to learn that the grant she had been expecting has not yet been approved.
So she was very frustrated. I mean, she had planned on not having to need monies to pay for schooling for the fall. She had to sit down and figure out how she was going to pay for school, pay for her room and board, pay for books. Certainly the school said, well, you can come back in January, but she had moved everything, 1,000 miles. You just can't move back home and then move back again.
Resolved not to let her financial situation become a barrier to an education, Michelle takes a job at a local McDonald's. But the pressures of being a single parent and a full-time student become too much for her.
She had Jaden with her, her son. She was that attached to him and that close that she wanted him to be with her. Now, finding out that she had to also take on a full-time job as well as her school and trying to raise a son, it became very overwhelming. She just didn't know what to do. She was kind of, stuck between bringing her son back home or trying to keep him there with her. And our advice was to bring him home to family and friends here.
Michelle agrees Jaden would be better off living with her parents in Harrisburg while she finishes school.
I spoke with her and, about me flying down to pick up Jaden and bringing him back. Then she decided that that's what she would do.
But that's not what happens. No one could have predicted what Michelle would do next. On Friday, September 26th, Michelle arrives at work. Unexpectedly, her boss gives her the weekend off.
I believe that it was September 26th, which was a Friday, that she was scheduled for work, and her boss at the McDonald's, she indicated that that Friday she had to make some scheduling changes, and she gave Michelle off unexpectedly that Friday evening until Tuesday. So Michelle now saw a window of opportunity that she could travel and bring Jaden back home during that time and didn't have class until Tuesday morning.
Curiously, Michelle chooses not to tell her parents she's decided to make the 1,200-mile trip from Louisiana to Pennsylvania.
Well, when I spoke with her before her disappearance, she didn't give me any inclination or anything that she was coming up that time. And I think she may have wanted to surprise us, and to show us that she can take that kind of drive.
It's a decision that continues to haunt the McMullins. That Saturday afternoon, after attending her college's homecoming football game, Michelle sets off with Jaden.
Our estimation is, based on the time, it's about an 18-hour drive, that she would have had to have left probably around 3 or 5 o'clock that afternoon.
Michelle drives through the night, stopping only for gas.
Michelle drove here in an amount of time that would certainly say that she didn't stop very much. I asked Jaden if they had stopped and slept, and Jaden said he slept and took naps, but he said every time he woke up, his mom was still driving.
Michelle makes one phone call from the road to a childhood friend in Harrisburg.
I understand that Michelle, upon arriving in Harrisburg, spoke to her friend, told her friend that she was coming in town and that she needed to drop her son with her.
Michelle asks her friend to watch Jaden for the weekend and then take him to Michelle's parents on Tuesday once Michelle is back at school. Her friend later tells the McMullins that Michelle had specifically instructed her not to tell them of her trip until she dropped Jaden off.
Certainly our feelings were that Michelle did not contact us, primarily because we would have not left her leave immediately upon arriving after driving such a long time.
I would have insisted that she stay, even if I had to sit on her and, take her keys or whatever it is that I needed to do, but she would not have left that night.
Michelle's spur-of-the-moment trip sets into motion a series of events that will devastate her family. Around 8:30 Sunday evening, Michelle arrives at her friend's place in Harrisburg with Jaden.
After meeting with her friend, she got back in her car, and this was about 9 p.m. on Sunday evening.
Before starting the 18-hour journey back to Louisiana, Michelle assures her friend that she won't continue without stopping to rest.
Michelle's friend was concerned about her traveling after having been up for such a long period of time. Michelle had told her friend that she had some pillows and blankets in the car and that she would stop along the way back, but that she was certainly intent on trying to get back to school by Tuesday morning.
But Michelle promises her that once on the road again, she will call to check in. And she does. The call lasts only a few minutes. It is the last time anyone speaks to Michelle McMullin before she disappears. As the search begins, her family worries. Could an alarming medical issue be responsible? It's Monday morning, and Michelle's close friend hasn't heard from her since their brief phone call the night before. Michelle has left her 6-year-old with her and started the drive back to school in Louisiana. The friend tries Michelle's cell, but her repeated calls go unanswered.
The friend, after making several attempts to reach Michelle, became very concerned that possibly something had derailed or there had been some issue.
Weighing her promise not to call the McMullins until Tuesday against her concern for Michelle's safety, Michelle's friend finally picks up the phone.
My wife got a phone call on that Monday morning that her friend, her close friend, thought immediately that something had happened.
And I'm like, what? You know, because I'm livid. I'm like going, like my mind is racing. Like, what are you talking about?
On the phone, the friend explains that Michelle had been in Harrisburg over the weekend and left Jaden in her care. And she tells them that she hasn't been able to reach Michelle all day. Michelle's parents begin calling everyone they know who Michelle could possibly be in touch with, hoping someone has had contact with her.
We started making calls to her school, to her job, to places that we thought she might have made contact with in her trip back. Monday would have been, for the most part, a day of travel. So we just really didn't panic, because I never imagined that something horrific may have happened. We just felt that Michelle was just en route, that she was making her way back. She didn't want to spend time talking. We were concerned, but yet not fearful.
But on Tuesday morning, when they find out Michelle hasn't shown up for her classes, they know something is very wrong. It's almost unheard of for Michelle to miss school.
On Tuesday, we called the police.
We became involved when her father, Mr. McMullen, called the police department and reported her missing. He described his daughter as you know, a normal kid, single mother, working hard, going to school, was heading back down to college, and they basically never showed up.
But the police also explain that not enough time has gone by for Michelle to technically be listed as a missing person.
The authorities said that at that point they couldn't help us. They couldn't do anything until the necessary time had elapsed of her missing. So pretty much throughout that Tuesday, we're very concerned. We're very, I want to almost say frantic.
On Wednesday, 72 hours have now passed since Michelle went missing. Her father, Michael, is finally able to file a missing persons report. Her name is also entered into the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC, database that law enforcement officers use to track missing people.
That's nationwide, so whoever would come in contact, whether she was listed as a missing person.
When police question Michelle's parents, trying to find out anything that might help them locate Michelle, they discover she's been plagued by severe migraine headaches.
The father, Mr. McMullen, told us that, and that was a concern.
Police learn that a year earlier, one attack was so serious that Michelle collapsed unconscious. In fact, her son Jaden, then 5, dialed 911, and paramedics were dispatched to the scene to revive her.
And he kept calling her, Mom, and she wouldn't answer. So he didn't know what else to do, so he just picked up the phone and dialed 911 himself.
Michelle was rushed to the local hospital. She later tells her family that before the attack, her vision had become blurry. Was it possible that Michelle experienced a migraine attack so severe to cause a car accident? It sounds like a chillingly reasonable explanation to her father.
We felt that Michelle had been in an accident, that she just, was not in any condition to be driving over 1,000 miles with such little sleep.
The possibility that an injured Michelle might be stranded on the road, somewhere between Pennsylvania and Louisiana, haunts both her parents and law enforcement officials.
Some of those back roads down there, I mean, you could be missing for a month before anybody would spot your car.
The McMullins immediately take action.
We mapped the route from here back down to Louisiana and the towns that were in between here, and to identify the hospitals.
From the religious bookstore and copy center they run, Michelle's parents call and send Michelle's photo to hospitals along Michelle's planned route to Louisiana, hoping that someone might recognize Michelle if she is lying in a hospital somewhere, unidentified.
So she would have been in an accident and we would have known about that, but we came up with nothing.
Next, police receive a new clue that will intensify the search for Michelle and deeply trouble her family. On Sunday, September 29th, Michelle McMullin goes missing while driving from Pennsylvania back to her college in Louisiana. Her father files a missing persons report with the local police. Because Michelle has a history of severe migraines, family members are concerned that Michelle may have been injured in a car accident and unable to call for help.
I mean, she was just a happy-go-lucky, hometown girl going to college and raising a kid, single mother. You spend a lot of time spinning your wheels, and we weren't coming up with anything.
While continuing to investigate the possibility that Michelle has been in a car accident, Harrisburg investigators also begin exploring other theories to explain her disappearance. They interview the friend Michelle left her son with in Harrisburg. What she tells them is shocking. According to the friend, Michelle has run away, possibly abandoning her son.
This friend had said to the police that Michelle was ran away versus her being missing.
She tells police that Michelle left her a letter before she drove off.
She had written a letter. Michelle had done it herself, and it pretty much gave it to her friend, and then she would be in contact with her. And she wanted to check on her child.
The letter was addressed to her friend, and had a nurse stating the fact that they're sorry for getting them involved in it, getting them in the middle.
In addition to spelling out instructions on how Michelle's son should be cared for, the letter contains many perplexing statements.
I don't know what's going on, but I know the fingers are all on me. I was responsible for everything. I'm hurting and scared.
But Michelle's mother questions the authenticity of the letter.
I said, this is not Michelle's handwriting. I had to keep reading it because, like I said, this is not my daughter's handwriting. It's similar to her handwriting, but this is not her handwriting. It's not.
After analyzing the letter and speaking with the friend, police find no reason to conduct a handwriting analysis. They believe the letter is from Michelle. But the statements made in the letter puzzle them. Do they prove that Michelle willingly disappeared? It's an intriguing clue.
And that's when we started to put some of the puzzle together. Well, she may have a reason not to be found.
But the McMullins are adamant that Michelle would never run away.
She was not a type of person who traditionally had run away. Hadn't been proven the type of person who just disappeared for no good reason.
There is nothing in the letter to help them locate Michelle. And without more evidence to confirm what Michelle's friend had said, investigators continue to view Michelle as a missing person. A week later, as police explore different theories about the case, a call comes in. Michelle's 2002 Honda Accord has been discovered abandoned just over the Pennsylvania border in neighboring Maryland, near a truck assembly plant.
We became aware Miss McMullin's car was here outside Mack Truck when Mack Truck Security called Washington County Dispatch to advise that a vehicle had been abandoned on the access road here. We sent deputies out to check the car. Our dispatchers checked that license plate number through Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, and we received information that the car belonged to Miss McMullen.
Sergeant Christopher Howard, with the Washington County, Maryland Sheriff's Office, was one of the first officers to arrive at the scene.
When Mack Truck called us to report that the vehicle had been sitting here somewhere between 7 and 10 days, they weren't exactly sure.
With Michelle now missing for 10 days, this information fits perfectly with the timeline of her last known whereabouts. Investigators are frustrated that it took so long for employees at the truck plant to report Michelle's abandoned car.
I would guess that they had figured it was probably just an employee's car that had broken down as they were leaving work, and they expected the employee to recover the car. When their car sat here for so long, they finally decided to call us.
The news of the car's discovery rattles the McMullens, and in their minds, points to only one possibility.
I'll be very honest with you, I really, my heart sank, because I felt at that point that she was taken from her vehicle forcibly, not at her own free will, because there was just no way in my mind that Michelle would go somewhere on her own and not contact someone.
With 10 days lost, police scramble to make up the time.
I mean, it's just lost time. So if she was in the area, obviously, if we had known it was there an hour after she left, it would have been a much easier chance of catching up with her.
A local TV station picks up the story.
The discovery of Michelle's car on the interstate did eliminate a few possibilities. One, that she wasn't in a car accident, her car was fine. And two, that she didn't die right there on the scene.
With the likelihood of Michelle being injured in a car accident now eliminated, investigators focus on other possible scenarios.
When we found the car, we weren't exactly sure why Miss McMullen had left it here. When we began to examine the contents of the vehicle, we looked at it as hopefully we would find something that would indicate where she may have gone.
The examination of the car reveals some clues, but they don't all add up. The car doors are locked, but inside, police find Michelle's purse, along with her cell phone, wallet, and ID. Evidence that reinforces the McMullens' fears their daughter has been abducted.
I thought that she might have been asleep and somebody seen her, a trucker or somebody, and, banged on the window and scared her, and she got up and they took her out the car.
The vicinity surrounding the truck plant is a mixture of farmland and wooded areas. Areas that would be sparsely populated at night when Michelle would have been separated from her car.
In this area especially, it's not a really populated area. It would definitely be easy for Michelle to just pull up, leave her car, and nobody would ever even see her. So I don't think there's a lot of people around there that would really say, "Hey lady, what are you doing?"
Police form search parties to scour these areas for clues. They also bring in scent-tracking dogs to determine Michelle's movement. The dogs pick up Michelle's scent and track it 50 feet from the car towards the main road before it goes cold.
With the bloodhound tracking Miss McMullen from the vehicle towards Moggins Avenue, the conditions that caused her to walk there, again, we had no idea of that.
Still, the McMullens contend there can be only one explanation. Michelle did not leave her car willingly.
The tractor trailer is about 50 feet in length. And that certainly makes sense that, hey, maybe a truck pulled out, saw her, stopped, went back, grabbed her up, put her in the truck, and went on their way.
And if this woman left her car on the side of the road and had a plan to escape and get away and go somewhere else, you would think she would take her personal items, things she needed to survive, like her credit card and her cell phone and her wallet. But it seems weird that she just walked away and left everything that are completely vital to surviving.
As ground searches of the area are completed, only one thing is certain. Michelle McMullen is nowhere to be found.
We had hoped maybe to find something indicating where she had gone or why she had disappeared. We didn't find anything.
The The McMullins are frustrated when the police are unable to turn up anything to help them locate Michelle. And they can't believe no one at the truck plant saw her leave her car.
How come you could not see if someone got out that car? You would have to notice if somebody's pulling up and pull over to the side. You would have to see that. You have no choice. Even if your back is turned, you're going to turn around, you still would have to see. You have to see that someone pulled that car there and got out that vehicle.
But as investigators begin evaluating all of the evidence in the case, Michelle McMullin's disappearance starts to look less like an abduction and more like something else.
There was nothing in the car that would indicate to us that there was any foul play. There was no evidence of a crime, no blood or anything like that. Each one of those things that we came up with sort of leads us to believe that, okay, no, she's not a missing person, she wants to be missing.
Could Michelle have wanted to disappear? When something from Michelle's past emerges, it throws the missing persons investigation into a tailspin. Get more Disappeared online at investigationdiscovery.com. Ten days after she vanishes, Michelle's car is found abandoned right over the Pennsylvania border in Hagerstown, Maryland. There are two theories about her disappearance. Her family insists she was taken against her will, but police believe the evidence shows that she wanted to disappear. Suddenly, there's shocking news. A warrant for the arrest of Michelle McMullin issued in Pennsylvania by a neighboring police department. The charges? Felony theft by forgery, unlawful taking, and deception of an amount over $2,000 from the church where Michelle used to work before moving to Louisiana. Detective Michael Thornton is the lead investigator with the Susquehanna Township Police.
Michelle was employed there as an administrator at the church. She was in charge of doing certain financial functions for the church.
Church officials tell Detective Thornton Michelle had been employed at the church since November of 2007. But she was fired in July of 2008 for poor performance, a little less than a month before she moved to Louisiana. And it was at that time they discovered money was missing.
They did an audit of the funds and discovered numerous discrepancies. Our investigation found that there's over $19,000 worth of missing funds.
The McMullin family is completely dismayed. Michelle's father had been unaware Michelle had actually been fired from her job.
As I understand, Michelle left her employment in the end of July and had given notice with the understanding that she was going to school, to Louisiana, and left with that purpose.
Michael McMullin had spoken with Detective Thornton on the phone a month earlier about the theft investigation. But he believed Michelle was not being accused of any wrongdoing.
I received a phone call from the Susquehanna Police Department, Detective Thornton, who asked me, did I know how to get a hold of Michelle? And he was very forward in that he said there had been an investigation with things at her former employment. He indicated at that time Michelle was not a suspect. He said they were not looking to arrest Michelle or any of those things.
Michelle even tried contacting Detective Thornton when she learned of the investigation.
And Michelle made an attempt to call him. And as I understand from the detective, he did miss the call.
Michelle called me. She left me a voice message stating that I could contact her, but only through an email address. She did not give me a phone number.
I understood later from the detective she had indeed tried to email him as well. And then they just missed each other.
News of the arrest warrant causes Harrisburg police to re-examine Michelle's disappearance.
We discovered that Susquehanna Township had filed criminal warrants for her, for embezzlement and stealing from the church. And so that you start to look at the other aspect of that, and that kind of fit in when the friend was talking about she may be just on the run.
Even given the letter, it is a theory that Michelle's father, Michael, cannot accept. He fears that police have already drawn their own conclusions about Michelle without having all the facts.
Once there's any release of some type of criminal information, everybody's mind is made up. People are now convinced, well, she must have done something. That's what's wrong. She could be out there laying in a ditch dead, somebody, harmed, injured, raped her, killed her.
Police comb through Michelle's life, looking for places where she might be hiding. Michelle's cell phone records and email accounts are carefully scrutinized.
I did obtain search warrants for Michelle's email accounts, her MySpace and Facebook accounts. I was trying to locate individuals who she may have had contact with after she disappeared, and to find something to help us to find her.
But again, nothing surfaces to help investigators. Her name is once again placed in the NCIC database. This time as a wanted individual.
We entered her as a wanted person. That was done for several reasons. If she is found, that the agency needs to know that there are charges pending in another jurisdiction. There's some meaning as to why she may be missing, and to make sure she's returned safely.
Still, Michael McMullen firmly believes that the charges against Michelle have nothing to do with her disappearance.
There was more information and more reason to believe that Michelle had been abducted than to believe that she walked away because of this criminal investigation.
Detective Thornton acknowledges that at this point in the investigation, both theories about Michelle's disappearance still seem possible.
There was the possibility that she was in harm's way, and there was also the possibility that she was running from the charges. We had no idea. That's why we had to investigate, look in the situation, and determine exactly what happened. But we had no idea exactly why she was missing.
The Harrisburg Bureau of Police continues investigating Michelle as a missing person. Meanwhile, the Susquehanna Township Police carry out their own fugitive search.
Susquehanna Township was handling the criminal aspect. We were handling the missing person aspect. We have to continue to do that until we locate that person. Bottom line is we still had a missing person that we didn't know where she was.
Detective Thornton carefully re-interviews Michelle's closest friends and family, altering the questions to reflect Michelle's new status as a wanted individual.
We interviewed Michelle's family and friends. We asked them all sorts of questions as to if they knew where she was, why she disappeared. We have no reason to believe that Michelle's parents knew where she was or know where she's at right now. They are generally concerned about her safety and want her to return home to them.
But while Detective Thornton believes Michelle's parents have been completely forthcoming with what they know, he feels the same can't be said about Michelle's childhood friend, the one who Michelle left her son with before disappearing.
Certainly Michelle's closest friend seemed to have a very intricate involvement. There seemed to be a lot of things and situations that involved or surrounded her close friend.
Detective Thornton asks the woman to submit to a polygraph test.
We gave one of Michelle's friends a polygraph test. We wanted to make sure that we were receiving accurate information.
Her answers are analyzed by the Susquehanna Township Police polygraph expert.
The results of the test were that person was deceptive.
Detective Thornton believes the results suggest Michelle's friend isn't telling all she knows.
There's still a lot of unanswered questions. The results of the polygraph test were another piece of the puzzle and gave us direction to look into.
But none of this eases the McMullins' pain of not knowing where their daughter is.
I've had a lot of people have said to me, well, you seem to be so calm and so collected through all this. I'd be out of my mind. but I knew my daughter was out there and that somehow I had to find her, and being erratic, being emotional, being, disoriented just, isn't going to cut it. I mean, you got to be focused.
Then, a possible sighting confirms police suspicions, but causes Michelle's parents even greater anxiety. The disappearance of Michelle McMullen continues to be investigated by two different police forces. The Harrisburg Bureau of Police is still treating her as a missing person, while the neighboring Susquehanna Township Police pursue her as a wanted fugitive. And with little information to go on, her parents remain at a loss to explain their only daughter's disappearance. On Monday, December 15th, nearly 3 months after Michelle disappeared, an acquaintance walks into a hotel in Martinsburg, West Virginia. He's startled when he recognizes the woman working behind the counter. She appears to be Michelle McMullen. It's the break that police have been waiting for.
We alerted the Harrisburg Police Department, and we in turn notified the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department down in West Virginia where she was.
Investigators pounce on this startling tip. Just 30 miles from where her car was discovered, and a little less than 100 miles from her hometown. Could Michelle McMullen really be so close by?
One of our detectives got the information and immediately sent the local law enforcement agency there.
But when the officers arrive, they are surprised to find the person believed to be Michelle McMullen has already fled.
When police first were alerted of the sighting of Michelle in Martinsburg, they got there, they missed her like 10 minutes.
Well, that news was very frustrating. We were very close to her. We almost found her.
And I don't know how she was notified that we were coming. I don't know how that happened, or whether she just said, oh, my friend saw me, the gig's up, and she just, left the area, but it was done rather quickly.
Michelle's parents are stunned when told of the sighting.
Immediately, we wanted to believe that it was Michelle. I said, where? I mean, how? I mean, I was just full of questions.
Investigators question the hotel staff, and a local news station devotes significant time to the story.
They saw Michelle working here at the Knight's Inn.
A customer come to check out, and a friend that was with the customer recognized her.
From what?
From Pennsylvania. He was a family friend and recognized her. And as soon as he recognized her, she tried to jump behind the wall so he wouldn't see her. She must have seen him coming. And then he saw her, and then she took off running.
The individuals at the hotel were able to identify her in the photos that we had and provided. There's no doubt that's her, and she's now on the run.
Investigators determine with near certainty that the woman is Michelle. But the McMullens are not as willing to believe this woman is, in fact, their daughter.
So now in my mind, I'm saying, is this really Michelle? So I'm saying, well, I know when the police get there, they're going to do some fingerprints, DNA, something to conclusively, determine this was her.
We had a positive ID, so at this point, there was no need to do any forensic stuff or DNA. We knew it was her. She'd been positively ID'd by two sources, plus the information we had found in the room clearly indicated it was her.
I don't believe that individual is my daughter simply because we have not got a 100% ID from the authorities.
Police learned that this woman, who identified herself as Monique Watson, had lived and worked at the hotel for the last 2 months. That coincided with the same period of time Michelle has been missing. They examine Michelle's hotel room and uncover some very revealing evidence.
She was living in the room at the hotel. We found stuff in the room that indicated that she was going by the name Monique Watson. We also found evidence that she was trying to obtain false ID, false driver's license, birth certificates, social security cards with that name.
Hotel employees told me that they knew her as Monique Watson. When I kept saying Michelle McMullen, they had no clue who I was talking about. So I had to keep referring to her as Monique because that's how they knew her. That's how they knew her as a friend, as a hotel employee, as a neighbor.
Reporter Nikki Burdine, arriving shortly after the police, interviews staff about how Michelle came to be employed.
Like 10 minutes. Hotel employees told me that Michelle had arrived kind of out of the blue, told them that she was running from an abusive boyfriend. And the hotel employees told me, they said, once somebody tells us something like that, we don't really pry. Another interesting fact is Michelle did not provide an identification when she got this job. The hotel employees told me that Michelle told her boss that she lost it in Katrina. And again, she hit the hot button. You don't ask someone about that. It's a touchy issue, and you just let her be.
Investigators piece together all this information and form a narrative of Michelle's movements following her disappearance.
She originally found the job at a hotel not too far from where her car was discovered in Maryland, but she only worked part-time. She was looking for full-time employment. The hotel owner knew of another hotel in the West Virginia area that was looking for full-time help. She traveled down there, she could get hired. She ended up working there full-time and living there. We're still looking in to see who might have helped her move from Maryland to West Virginia, who her friends were, who she had contact with.
Once again, Michelle McMullen has vanished, leaving only a few scattered clues and a trail of unanswered questions.
I never in a million years,
A beloved mother and friend.
Sarah was the sweetest person on this earth.
She wanted to do anything for you to make you happy.
Murdered in her home.
Just the sheer brutality. Somebody was out of control.
It was so terrifying. It was so frightening.
Sends police on the hunt for a killer.
Possible suspects right away is her husband.
When they find out, uh-oh, there's someone else involved with this person.
You were just sitting there wondering, are they ever going to find who did this?
But the search for the truth.
This is strange. There are so many twists and turns. What really happened?
Uncovers a culprit.
Something's going on here. They were never even on the suspect radar.
That surprises everyone.
Wow, that was a twist none of us expected.
It was shocking.
No, this isn't right.
I never expected that someone like that could be evil.
Howard County, Maryland, an affluent community nestled between Baltimore and Washington, D.C.
Howard County itself is a very quiet, peaceful suburb.
Howard County is very much a bedroom community. People move here for the schools. That's what it's known for. There's very, very little crime.
But on Sunday, November 15th, 1998, at 7:44 p.m., a concerned resident makes a call to police.
I have a friend who I normally hear from every day, and I haven't heard from her all day, and there's a really funny message on my machine from last night. And I wondered if someone could drive by her house and check it out.
What's the lady's name?
Sarah Roris.
I did not hear from Sarah all day. That is not normal. Something's wrong.
Laura tells police that the 35-year-old single mother lives with her 1-year-old son, but the boy is with his father this weekend. Patrol officers head to the Roris home in the township of Elkridge to investigate.
The police were able to gain access to the house, and upon entering the house, they conducted a sweep, and in the back family room, they found the body of Sarah Roris. It appeared that she'd been stabbed to death.
Even hardened homicide investigators are taken aback when they see Sarah's mutilated body.
The thing that still sticks in my mind is just the sheer brutality. I can close my eyes and see it as vividly today as I did then. The ones most visible were wounds to Sarah's neck and throat, multiple deep cuts and slashes. She was basically just short of being decapitated. She had severe cuts to each wrist. Her hands were just short of being cut completely off. There was a series of stab wounds to her stomach. Tremendous amount of blood on the floor around her, blood spattered up and down the walls. There was blood splattered all over the child's toys. It was complete and utter overkill. Somebody was out of control.
Could the vicious nature of the attack mean this was a crime of passion? Detectives hunt for clues to help piece together this gruesome event.
It was apparent that she had been dead for a period of time before we discovered her. The blood had pretty much dried. I was estimated she'd probably had been dead for about 24 hours. It had been forced entry to the house. Bloody boot prints leading from the body indicate that the suspect both entered and exited through the window. There appeared to be some degree of ransacking. VCR appeared to be missing. The phone was missing from the wall. A couple drawers in the kitchen had been rifled through, but at the same time, the victim's laptop, computer, purse, and items were relatively untouched on the kitchen table. An initial thought on our part was, could it all be staging in an attempt to throw us off, to make us think it was a robbery or burglary gone bad?
Looking for witnesses, police fan out to speak with Sarah's neighbors on her quiet suburban street.
As brutal and as violent as this attack was, nobody heard anything, not a sound.
Inside the house, the forensic team spends hours gathering evidence.
On the wall above Sarah's body, crime scene technicians were able to recover a couple bloody fingerprints. It indicated that the person was wearing gloves.
Investigators must now solve the mystery of why Sarah Raris would fall prey to such a brutal attack. Detectives start by speaking with Sarah's friend, Laura Billiter, who first called police. They have to reveal the heartbreaking news that her friend is dead.
I didn't want it to be true. I was in denial, and you just can't process information for a while. You're frozen. I kept trying to deny that it was Sarah. No one deserves to die like that.
Sarah Williamson was born on a Florida military base in 1963, the daughter of an Air Force sergeant. Growing up, she was gregarious with a knack for mathematics.
Sarah was not your typical introverted mathematician. She was very sociable.
To describe Sarah, she gave love freely. She wanted to do anything for you to make you happy.
After graduating college, Sarah moved to Maryland, where she took a job as a statistician at the National Security Agency.
Sarah and I met at work, and she was the best friend you could ever have. Sarah was the sweetest person on this earth. She had friends everywhere at work. She had built up a reputation for herself. She was well respected, and she always was going to school or improving herself in some way.
In 1991, while earning a master's degree, Sarah met Lorenzo Raris, and they began a relationship. The two married in 1994.
Sarah wanted the husband, the children, the house in the country, the white picket fence. She wanted that golden dream.
After 3 years of marriage, Sarah and Lorenzo had a son, Will.
She was a great mom. She doted on Will.
But the new baby put a strain on the marriage.
Her family was down in Alabama, so she was missing that support system. Lorenzo did very little to help her.
Over the next year, friends saw their relationship deteriorate.
Things really took a downturn. The marriage was breaking down. Sarah, during all that, was a complete mess.
In 1998, Sarah and Lorenzo separated. Eager for a fresh start, Sarah filed for divorce.
She was just becoming a strong woman again, proud of the fact that she was able to live on her own and take care of her child on her own. It was wonderful to see.
Now, 5 months later, Sarah's been found butchered in her own living room. The beloved mother's lifeless body left laying in a pool of blood.
She had become such a strong, independent woman, and I was so proud of her. I was devastated.
Laura gives detectives the phone message from her answering machine that prompted Laura to call police in the first place.
I couldn't understand any of it because it was so garbled. The only thing I knew, somebody was in trouble. I did a redial, and I figured out it was from Sarah.
In listening to the recording, you can hear sounds of a struggle, followed by a series of short, sharp screams. It was 30, 40 seconds, basically, of Sarah being murdered. I believe that she was probably in the process of maybe trying to call 911 when she inadvertently hit the preset speed dial for Laura.
The timestamp on the message is 8:46 p.m. on Saturday night, only 36 hours earlier.
The recording gave us a starting point that we know on this date and this time, Sarah Rares was attacked and murdered.
I could hear her last moments. I was shocked, I was horrified. And then I got angry, and I'm like, you gotta go pick up Lorenzo, he's involved in this.
Laura was aware Sarah was involved in a very bitter and heated custody dispute with her estranged husband. She had real fear that it was not going to end well. So I wanted to talk to the husband.
This is not going to be a random act of violence. This is going to be murder.
Coming up, a hunt for the truth.
Something's going on here. We had to look into the possibility of an affair.
Reveals buried secrets.
We opened the door and he threw up all over the parking lot. He knows something.
And a stunning turn in the case.
I was absolutely shocked. It's like out of a movie.
It was such an unexpected twist.
Hours after discovering the body of 35-year-old Sarah Rares, detectives investigating the murder have a lead. Sarah's friend Laura tells police she suspects Sarah's estranged husband, Lorenzo Rares, might have had something to do with her murder.
We found out that Sarah was involved in an extremely contentious custody divorce situation. Internal police records had indicated that the police had responded there at least once before for disturbance between Sarah and her estranged husband.
After Will was born, the marriage really started breaking down. Lorenzo was very jealous of his child because his child was taking away the attention that he had received from Sarah. Sarah told me that he was not happy with that.
Sarah turned to Lorenzo's mother, Amelia, who lived nearby, for help.
Sarah wanted Amelia involved. She was hoping that Amelia would be a calming influence on Lorenzo. And it would also allow, Sarah to spend a little bit more time with Lorenzo.
Instead of getting better, things got worse.
Sarah confided in me his mother was a little too involved doing all of the caregiving, and Lorenzo wanted nothing to do with the day-to-day tasks that it takes to raise a child. Sarah was very adamant that Lorenzo is his father. He needs to be very involved in taking care of their son.
One morning, I got a phone call. Sarah was hysterical. She and Lorenzo got into an argument. He tried to hit her while she was holding Will, so she had to turn with the baby in her arms, and he had kicked her. She was just distraught. And I come pick her up, and we head straight to the courtroom. We put a restraining order in, and Lorenzo is not allowed back into the house. Lorenzo was extremely mad. Sarah was scared for her life. She was deathly afraid that she was going to be murdered.
Lorenzo Rares is approached by the Howard County Police for questioning.
When Lorenzo was first notified that his wife had been murdered, he covered his face with his hands. He fell to his knees. And in the initial officer's minds, he pretended to be crying and weeping into his hands, and that when he stood up, there was no evidence at all that he had been crying. One of the first things I noticed in dealing with Lorenzo was his lack of reaction, his lack of emotion, his lack of caring was significant. I thought he was smug. I thought he was arrogant. I just sensed he wasn't all that upset by what had happened to Sarah.
Detectives start by asking the 33-year-old sales manager if he had any involvement in Sarah's murder.
He denied it, that he'd had anything to do with it. At the same time, I just felt that there was something off. It was just an instinct on my part, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Lorenzo offers up his own theory as to who killed Sarah.
He alluded to the fact that Sarah may have been involved or been having an affair with a previous co-worker, but he said that if anything had happened, it would have probably been a result of this affair.
Lorenzo claims the last time he saw Sarah was on Friday morning when he picked up their son for the weekend.
The alibi that he provided for the Saturday night and weekend in question was that he was at home at the family house with the baby. His brother and his parents, who also lived in the house, were there.
Detectives collect evidence from Lorenzo to search against anything found at the crime scene.
We had a search warrant for his person, which allowed us to collect samples of DNA, hair, photographs, and fingerprints.
With nothing concrete to tie Lorenzo to the murder, detectives have to let him go.
Even though everything was pointing towards Lorenzo, he still has an alibi when he's saying he's at home and he's got all his family witnesses. If in fact he did it, we need to start punching holes in the family alibi.
Investigators head to the Raris family home, 30 minutes away in Parkville.
His car was seized, and other detectives then launched into the search of the Raris family home. We conducted interviews with all the family members, including Lorenzo's mother, Amelia. When asked where she was on that Saturday night, she said that she was working. She was a nurse's aide at a local nursing home, so she was at work during the time frame of
Mike tells police that Lorenzo was at home when he woke up to go work his night shift job.
It's the family saying he was there. A family alibi, in my opinion, has never been rock solid. It has to be investigated.
But a search of the Raris home fails to yield any new clues.
Nothing of evidentiary value came from the Raris house. Nothing of evidentiary value came from his truck. The only thing we walked away with is we had his initial denials and his initial alibi. From that point on, he lawyered up.
As detectives consider their next move, the public concern about the murder of Sarah Raris grows.
This murder sent shockwaves through the Howard County community. It caused major headlines.
There are a lot of Sarahs in this community, so to have a smart, competent, career-driven woman murdered in this way in her house, it was shocking.
With nothing tying Lorenzo to the murder, investigators turn their attention to his allegation that Sarah was having an affair. Could that have led to her death?
We had to look into the possibility of an affair. The former boss that Lorenzo claimed she was having an affair with had to be tracked down and interviewed. The relationship between the two of them, we had to look at it. We had to investigate.
Police investigating the savage murder of Sarah Raris are looking into her estranged husband's claim that Sarah had been having an affair with her former boss.
Lorenzo had implied that Sarah was having an affair with a former co-worker or supervisor, a gentleman by the name of Don Lewis. He had since retired from NSA and was living in Massachusetts.
Detectives travel to Cape Cod to interview Don Lewis. The 51-year-old tells detectives that he is not surprised by Lorenzo's claim of an affair.
Mr. Lewis told us that Lorenzo had emailed accusing him of having an affair with Sarah. He denied it. He said he was a father figure or mentor to Sarah. There was no romantic overtones, and there was no reason for him to kill her, nor did he want anything bad to happen to her.
Don tells detectives he had been shocked to hear news of Sarah's death. and he was at a friend's dinner party hundreds of miles away when it happened.
Mr. Lewis had an alibi for the Saturday night. He was in Massachusetts the night of the murder, and they had a solid alibi.
Detectives reach out to those close to Sarah to learn more about her relationship with her former boss.
Don Lewis was a friend of hers. They did have like a mentor-mentee relationship, but that was all there was to Don Lewis.
It was more like a father-daughter type of relationship. There was never a romance.
The investigation revealed that the affair aspect of it appeared to be pure fabrication on the part of Lorenzo. There was just nothing there.
A week following her death, those closest to Sarah gather to honor her memory.
The church memorial was packed. There was so much love in that room. Everybody showed up. All of her coworkers and friends from work showed up. The police showed up. Lorenzo didn't show up, nor did any of the rest of the family.
I actually covered her memorial service. Her friends were not shy about casting aspersions on Lorenzo Rares, her husband. That's their suspect number one, their prime suspect.
After Sarah's funeral, investigators speak with the medical examiner about what was found during the autopsy.
The cause of death was no surprise. It was massive blood loss due to the lacerations to her throat. She bled out over 80% of her blood volume. Even the pathologist characterized it as complete overkill.
A forensics report reveals no useful fingerprints from the crime scene. But investigators still hold hope for tests on the bloody glove prints found on the wall behind the body.
The blood was sent out for DNA analysis. That takes a little bit of time to obtain.
While they await test results, detectives revisit their strongest lead, the phone message that captured the final moments of Sarah's life.
Other detectives are listening to the tape, and they thought that at some point in the struggle, they heard Sarah utter the name Mike.
Could Sarah be calling out the name of her killer?
Somebody says, oh, right there, it sounds like Mike. I hear Mike. Lorenzo's brother's name is Mike or Michael.
But what possible motive could Mike Rares have to kill his sister-in-law?
One of the theories that we were kicking around at this point was, could it have been a family member? Because initially all suspicion would have fallen on Lorenzo. And to keep Lorenzo out of it and to maintain the child custody, to have a family member do it, most logical one would have been Mike. He had to be looked at as a potential suspect.
Detectives sit down with Lorenzo's little brother and play him the answering machine message.
The recording was played for him, and Mike was asked, do you hear the name Mike? And he said no, he did not. Mike denied being personally involved in the murder of Sarah. My overall impressions of Mike was, I don't think he had it in him to do something like this, but I had a feeling that there was something playing on him. Again, he was part of Lorenzo's alibi that he was at home at the time of the murder.
Mike sticks to the story he'd previously told police, that when he woke up Saturday evening to go to work, Lorenzo was at home.
Blood was drawn, hairs were pulled. We fingerprinted him, we photographed him. We drove him back to his job. I told him, I said, I think you know what happened. I think you know what is going on. And we opened the door and he threw up all over the parking lot. And I said, whenever you want to come clean on this, you know who to call, and I gave him my card. My partner and I, we both felt he knows something.
Detectives investigating the murder of Sarah Raris suspect that her brother-in-law, Mike Raris, might know more about her murder than he is letting on.
My feeling was something's going on here. Maybe if he didn't do it, he definitely knows about it.
Mike's brother and Sarah's estranged husband, Lorenzo Raris, is still a suspect in Sarah's murder. But both men say they were at home together at the time she was killed.
If there was one avenue to break the Raris family alibi, I just thought the weak link was going to be Mike. Problem was, the lawyer that was representing Lorenzo got involved, and from that point on, we were not allowed to speak with Mike without counsel being present. That threw up a huge wall.
A month following the murder, the police investigation is at a standstill. But there is one person that investigators think might be able to help.
Lorenzo had been married previously. His first wife, Becky, was still living locally. We thought she's somebody that we could enlist.
Detectives meet with Becky Raris to ask for her assistance in the investigation.
Once she heard that Sarah had been murdered, Becky actually agreed to help us. She still had some degree of relationship with Lorenzo. They were cordial to each other. Becky agreed to allow us to record her phone calls with Lorenzo. We were hoping to obtain statements from Lorenzo that would incriminate him in the murder.
Becky reaches out to her ex-husband and tries to steer their conversation to Sarah's murder.
She was phenomenal. She conducted a number of controlled calls on our behalf with him. We were hopefully optimistic that we would get something, but he never said anything incriminating to her on those recordings.
Detectives have hit a dead end in their pursuit of Sarah's killer.
I remember cornering the police chief out of like a public event to ask him, hey, any updates on the case? And he obviously said no. There were no updates to give. They had nothing.
I prayed every day that this would be the day that something, would come forth.
Investigators get new hope when DNA analysis of blood from the glove prints at the crime scene comes back.
The blood came back as a mixture of Sarah's DNA and an unknown male. We were confident that we had the killer's DNA because it's mixed with Sarah's blood. If we found that person, then we could definitely put them at the scene with her actually bleeding.
Could this finally be what detectives need to tie Lorenzo to his wife's murder?
We submitted DNA samples from Lorenzo and his brother Mike for DNA comparison. Came back that neither one were a match. Obviously, that was a bit of a blow. I mean, it's very disappointing. Even though everything was pointing towards Lorenzo, it's not him.
In the beginning, it was pretty clear the police thought that her husband played a role in this. She had a very messy divorce going on. There were custody disputes, but the police didn't arrest him. And so there was a real air of mystery about it because the police couldn't figure it out either.
If Lorenzo was not responsible for the murder of Sarah, who could her killer be? And why was the beloved mother killed in such a violent manner? Investigators are back to square one.
Something has got to give on this. You go back through it again. Did I miss something? You have to look at everything. I did contact the FBI Behavioral Sciences Unit in Quantico, and they run it against all other cases in the country looking for similarities. Nothing of value came from that.
Detectives also seek help with deciphering the answering machine message from Laura that captured Sarah's attack.
We sent the recording to the FBI to see if they could clean it up and enhance it to try to determine if in fact it was a name. But it turned out it's not Mike. The whole thing with hearing the name Mike, I think, in hindsight, was just pure power of suggestion.
When you have a murder of this sort and no arrest, there was a concern and tension in the community as to what kind of person would do something like this.
We had been hammering away on this thing for almost 7, 8 months. At that point, we're kind of like dead in the water. We felt there was nothing else we could do to advance the case.
You were just sitting there wondering, are they ever going to find who did this? You started to lose hope.
Just as the case goes cold, an urgent call comes in from a neighboring jurisdiction.
My partner came running down the hall and says, "You need to come down and take this call. I have Baltimore County Homicide on the phone. You need to hear this. We got it. We got this case."
The 7-month hunt for the killer of Sarah Raris is at a standstill when detectives investigating the murder receive an unexpected phone call.
Picked up the phone, and it was Detective Phil Morrill from Baltimore County. He says, "Hey," he says, "I just got done running a wired conversation with an inmate in the Baltimore County Detention Center, talking about how he committed this murder of a woman. He described how he went through the window and how he attacked her and how he stabbed her in the belly. And he said, I damn near took her head off." And he says, "Do you guys have anything like it?" And I said, "Oh yeah, we do. The murder of Sarah Raris." And he said, "Well, you need to hear this tape."
Howard County investigators get a copy of the jailhouse recording of Ardale Tickles, who had been locked up for an armed robbery 3 months ago.
We sat down, we started listening to the tape of Ardale Tickles. Tickles is describing this homicide that he had committed.
Yeah, the one that I killed. Walked up through the window. He's like, "No, don't kill me, please don't." And I started jabbing her in the belly. And blood was just gushing out. On her wrist, there was no blood. I took the knife and I just took her head off.
Tickles is describing things that only the police and the suspect would know, all the injuries that had been inflicted upon Sarah. None of that had been released. None of that had been made public. I knew now we had it. I mean, I'm confident Ardale Tickles committed this murder.
Tickles keeps talking and has an even bigger revelation.
He's talking about how he came to be employed to do this.
I got paid, you know what I'm saying, the lady while I was working at, she told me to go hit this lady on. She just gave me the head to do, and I went to go do it.
It's now a straight-up murder for hire. We had the actual physical killer of Sarah Raris. We needed the person who hired him and paid him to conduct the murder, a co-worker. We had some homework to do.
Who was this mysterious co-worker? What was her relation to Sarah? And why would she want Sarah killed? Investigators start with Ardale Tickles.
He's 19 years old. He's a kid at this point. He was incarcerated awaiting trial. He robbed the McDonald's and he shot the manager during the course of the robbery. When we started digging into him, we couldn't find any kind of criminal record with him prior to this.
Detectives check Tickles' employment history, looking for any intersection with Sarah's life or those that knew her.
We went back like a year. He was employed in the laundry room at a local nursing home in Baltimore. He did the laundry for this facility.
The entire investigation turns when detectives realize who also worked at the same nursing home.
Lorenzo's mother, Amelia, they were co-workers. That was kind of mind-blowing, you know. She was never even on the suspect radar. Him and Amelia working at the same nursing home, it was the one piece to the puzzle that you needed to put in, and the rest of them just kind of fell into place after that.
Could it really be true that this 63-year-old grandmother hired someone to kill her daughter-in-law? And if it is true, who else knew about it?
We still weren't convinced that Lorenzo was completely blameless in this. So there was still a lot of investigative work to do. The Rares house in Parkville was put under surveillance while we investigated the relationship between Tickles and Amelia. We matched up work schedules. We were able to establish, yes, they worked together. Yes, they worked the same hours. We were able to locate a few coworkers who remember seeing Amelia talking to this guy. We were able to show that relationship did in fact exist.
But even with a known relationship, police had no evidence Amelia plotted to murder Sarah. To get to the truth, investigators turned to the man they believe killed Sarah.
Tickles was brought in to try to elicit his cooperation. What he gives up, we can use.
Detectives play Tickles the jailhouse recording.
I had the tape recording set to a point where he admits to stabbing her. He heard his voice talk about the murder.
As you can see, we don't need your confession. No, we got it.
Can you please enlighten me on what I'm facing and what I'm dealing with in this case?
You're going to be charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. But we need to get some details worked out. The person we want is this woman that hired you.
I had a picture of Amelia. I said, "Is this the woman?" And he says, "Yeah, that's her." We got her. I mean, it was huge. In some respects, it validated what we thought all along, that everything originated in the Rares household, in the Rares family. Never in 100 years would we have thought that she's the one that was calling the shots.
What did she say to you?
For a minute, she couldn't go on with life until this lady was dead. She was like, "Do me a favor and kill this lady," basically.
So she used the word kill?
Kill, take them off the earth, yeah. And she said, "I'll pay you." She said, "I'll give you money."
If you hire somebody to commit a murder and that person carries it out, then you're susceptible to the same charges and the same penalties as the person who did the actual killing. So now we're looking at first-degree murder charges for Amelia.
After it was over with, did you call this woman that night?
No, I met her at work, like that week.
Okay, is that when she paid you?
Yeah, she had a bundle with like $3,000.
Despite Tickle's revelations, investigators know it will be hard to bring charges against Amelia on the word of a jailed offender.
We had enough, we could have easily arrested Tickles and called it case closed. We needed something that really implicated Amelia in the conspiracy. What we wanted him to do to nail down the first-degree murder charge was get on the phone and call Amelia. We wanted to run a controlled call with him, and he refused. When that didn't happen, we had some work to do.
Investigators now suspect Sarah Raris was murdered in a hit organized by her mother-in-law, Amelia Raris. But the hitman, Ardale Tickles, refuses to take part in a wiretap to implicate her.
I would have loved to have got this controlled phone call to Amelia to further establish Amelia's involvement in the planning of the murder, but we still felt we were on the right track. A big item of evidence in this case obviously would be follow the money. We pulled Amelia's financial records and found out, sure enough, Amelia wrote a check out in the amount Tickles says he got paid, and she wrote it out to cash. That was key. That's the money trail.
Amelia Raris is arrested and interviewed by detectives.
She acknowledged her relationship with Tickles, and she also acknowledged that she hired him, but she alleged that she did not hire him to kill her. He did that on his own, she said. I just wanted to scare her.
There was no intention to kill. I didn't know that it's like that. In fact, I thought he's not going to kill her. He is just going to stone the house. You know, you throw the stone there.
$3,000 to stone the house?
Yes, to stone the house and make her feel sorry as revenge for me.
Amelia told us she wanted Sarah scared because she felt that Sarah, throughout their relationship, had disrespected her, did not acknowledge her as a woman with more maternal experience.
Because of the child?
Because of the child. I am not welcome to help. I think she did not like my style. The mother in my culture is revered and respected. I want to be treated with respect. I'm her mother. My marriage, she disrespected me. That is a slap on my face, and it is even more than death to me.
I understand. You were insulted.
Oh my God. Million words more than that. Showing disrespect to a mother is death.
Is it enough, though, to have someone killed?
Yes, because it killed me.
I think she was trying to portray herself as this poor little old lady who was as much a victim as anything. We weren't buying any of it. I mean, it's pure evil. There's no other way to describe, what happened here.
Then, detectives ask Amelia the question they've been trying to answer since day one.
Is Lorenzo involved?
No.
Does he know to this day what happened?
No. I do not want to tell my son. Because if I tell him, he will have problems. He loves the woman very much.
He's still in love with her?
Yeah.
Does Michael know anything about this?
No. We will tell him.
Despite Amelia's claim that she had no intention for Sarah to be killed, police proceed with charges against her.
We were able to establish that she hired him and paid him. That gave us more than enough to further solidify the case we had against her already.
The case against Ardale Tickles is strengthened when tests match his DNA to blood evidence found at the crime scene.
Both Ardale Tickles and Amelia Reyes were charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and in Amelia's case, she was charged with the crime of solicitation.
When we first heard that it was Amelia, the feeling was, no, this isn't right.
When I found out about her, I'm like, where the heck did Amelia come from?
I was absolutely shocked that the mother-in-law orchestrated the entire thing, and it was a hitman who did it. Wow, that was a twist none of us expected. Like, there's no way. It's like out of a movie.
In January of 2000, both Ardale Tickles and Amelia Reyes faced trial for the murder of Sarah Reyes.
There was no trial for Ardale Tickles.
He was going to go to trial, and Ardale Tickles unexpectedly decides to plead guilty. He's completely remorseful. He says, I shouldn't have done it. And then he got life in prison from the judge.
Amelia Reyes enters a plea of not guilty.
She maintained her innocence that she had just paid this guy $3,000 to go throw stones at the house.
I testified at the trial. I was there to let the jury know who Sarah was. I was afraid they would see this sweet, meek little old lady and not believe that someone like that could be evil and could organize this murder.
Ardale Tickles refuses to testify, but prosecutors present the recording of his police interview describing the plot and the crime, as well as the telephone message that captured Sarah's last moments of life.
It was so terrifying. It was so frightening. It was so unspeakably brutal. It was chilling.
After a 7-day trial, Amelia Reyes is found guilty of all charges. She is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I was relieved when the guilty verdict was read, and I am glad that they saw through that. To me,
it didn't add up. Why would she be gone for so long, and why wouldn't she tell anyone? Maybe she had mental health issues and she'd had enough.
Some people do find they can't cope with the pressures of life and wander off.
The police, they were searching the area with sniffer dogs, police helicopter.
It was much worse than we thought.
And I was like, am I under arrest then? In the heart of the Kent countryside lies the quaint village of Northbourne.
It's a very picturesque village, very rural setting, close to the coast, and actually a lovely place to be. Lots of nice walks through the fields and woodland nearby.
Everybody knows everybody. There is that sense of community and a sense of it being a safe environment.
We have quite a nice village hall. in a pub, surrounded by farmland. It's quite a nice, quiet place to live. Crime is not generally a problem here.
With such a welcoming community, it was the perfect place for Micah Cudworth to set up home.
Micah was born in Poland, but she came to live in Kent, and she came to see Kent as being her home.
She came over presumably to have a better life, to have a new adventure, and settled here and was well known and liked here.
She didn't come to England on her own. She was married before, and she came with the partner that she had at the time. But they separated, and she met Jonathan.
John was obviously a local lad and lived in this area all his life as far as he went to school in the area, joined the military, came out of that eventually and got a job here. It was a forklift truck driver.
Jonathan is a really sweet kid. He is really gentle, quite quiet, very reserved. And he came from a nice family. They were all good people.
With an opportunity for a second chance at love. In 2013, Micah and Jonathan tied the knot. And she found a safe haven with her new extended family in Kent.
Micah's family still lived in Poland. Her only family in England was actually Jonathan's family. She deemed her friends in England to be her family, so living and remaining here was important to her. She was very involved with his family. They were like one big family, and I think she loved that. I think that's what her intention of coming here. She wanted that family sentiment, and, you know, she got that.
It didn't take long for the happy couple to settle in well to village life.
Micah was beautiful, funny, fun-loving. She was just a real bright energy. She could make you laugh, make you smile.
They were an ordinary young couple which was missing in the village. So it was nice, it was a pleasure to see them.
Micah and Jonathan were a devoted couple.
As any normal couple would. They'd walk down to the end of the road. Micah would go rushing off wherever it worked. She'd always smile. She'd always, put her hand up. John, I would see occasionally on his way down to the pub, and occasionally on the way back from the pub.
And it wasn't long before Micah took up part-time work, which put her centre stage in the community.
She had a job as a barmaid in a village pub. You know, lots and lots of people would go in that pub. Quite a small size, but with a lovely big garden. And I think in that pub, it's very close-knit, you know, it's very friendly. And to have had very friendly, bubbly and attractive barmaid there, she would have been a very well-known and very well-liked girl.
8 years since her move from Poland, Micah appeared happy with her life in the UK. But she may not have been as content as it seemed.
Kent Police, where's your emergency?
Hiya, who do I report missing persons to?
Who's actually missing?
It's my wife. She came home about 11:30 because she went to meet somebody for a drink. She had a little bit of a row and she stormed off. She hasn't been back since.
So is she vulnerable in any way due to disability, mental health, or any other factors?
She has been a bit down lately.
Okay.
Micah had gone out after work and had a drink with a friend. She'd come home late. They'd had an argument. She'd stormed off. The next day, she was still missing. And then the following morning, Jonathan reported her as missing.
Worried about Micah's whereabouts, officers do a quick search of the house for clues. They discover she had taken just a few essentials with her, keys and a handbag. But her car is still in the driveway, and her mobile phone is switched off. Concerned about her state of mind, officers speak to villagers for clues.
My neighbour next door to me
told me Micah had gone missing. The police came round, explained what they were doing, interviewed us all.
Asking the questions, have you seen anything? Have you heard anything?
But with no information from neighbours, concern grows as to Micah's whereabouts and her state of mind. Can police decide to issue a missing persons appeal to the public?
We received a press release from police to say that Micah had gone missing. It's human instinct, so it instantly struck a chord, and we thought something's wrong here. It didn't add up. Why would she be gone for so long, and why wouldn't she tell anyone? Naturally you think, God, this woman must be so unwell. Maybe she had mental health issues and she kind of like had enough and left the house in the middle of the night. It was sad.
Can police wait for emergency?
Hiya, who do I report missing person to?
Who's actually missing?
In the quaint village of Northbourne, unease is growing over Micah Cudworth's whereabouts. She's been missing for more than 24 hours.
In the village, there was a real concern as to where Micah might be.
From our point of view, it was a case each day we wanted to know where was Micah, had she been found.
Concerned about her state of mind, her loving husband Jonathan has reported her missing. Worried that her low mood had led her to look for comfort outside of the family home.
So is she vulnerable in any way?
No, but she has been a bit down lately.
Okay.
You don't know, but it wouldn't be unusual. It could be some form of mental illness. Some people can't cope with the normal pressures of life and wander off.
Life gets difficult and life gets tough, which it does for all of us. And we all face challenging circumstances in our lives.
Having walked out in the middle of the night after an argument, the village can't imagine what's going through her husband's mind.
I actually reached out to John and said, hey, this is really terrible. And I remember saying to him, just hang on, hopefully she's going to find her and she'll get the help that she needs.
After 24 hours with no contact from Micah, and with no clues to her whereabouts, police start considering the possibility she could have harmed herself, or met someone out to cause her harm. A full-scale search is launched.
Suddenly, lots of police vans turn up. From seeing no police cars or hardly any police cars to being descended on by police was a little bit of a shock.
The police, they were searching the area nearby. That was with sniffer dogs, police helicopter.
You bring in resources, dogs, police dogs, searching fields, especially in rural area of East Kent, there's a vast amount of agriculture. You might get the helicopter camera up with the infrared to see if you can find someone in the field somewhere still alive.
Police continue to scour the surrounding areas and question Micah's family and friends. But it appears after walking out into the night, she simply disappeared.
Generally speaking, most missing persons turn up very shortly, certainly within, if not 24 hours sooner. This was then 30 odd hours. And then, of course, 36, 48 hours. And you always live in hope. But, of course, the longer it goes on, you always fear the worst.
As the days pass, husband Jonathan and the rest of the family desperately cling on for any hope that Micah will be found safe and well.
I was devastated for him. I felt for him, I felt for his family. I just wanted to help them, support them.
We responded as best we could and the church was open. We had a small little area as a place where people could come for prayer and reflection.
As the local search fails to uncover any clue as to where Micah has gone, detectives decide to increase the media campaign with the hope of reaching out nationally and internationally.
Police are urging anyone who may have seen Micah Cudworth to contact them. The barmaid walked out of her home just before midnight on Tuesday and hasn't been seen since. Polish-born Micah from Northbourne was last seen wearing white trainers, grey tracksuit bottoms and carrying a black handbag.
When the police released her photograph, that's when the public interest really did peak. She looked like a bubbly, happy, kind and well-liked person. So the public interest really did come alive. There was a lot of talk on social media. You can imagine when you live in these little villages, somebody goes missing and the local newspaper saying, oh, have you seen this person? It was everywhere.
Media campaigns are important, and very often by media campaigns and using the local media especially, you get sightings. Trouble with sightings is you can very often get people ringing in with genuine callers who believe they've seen perhaps the missing person when in fact it's not them at all. So you have to be careful that you're not taken down blind alleys.
And the longer Micah remains missing, the more rumours start to circulate throughout the village.
I think Micah, in the crudest sense, ticked a lot of boxes. As a barmaid, she would have been very popular. She was pretty attractive and supposedly quite bubbly, so she would have been very liked.
Rumours are rife, and particularly in a village. People start talking, she was a little bit too fond of a customer down at the pub.
She was very friendly with certain individuals, and one man in particular, and it was suspected by some people that she was having an affair.
Could Micah be with this man? Had she walked out into the arms of a new lover? Suddenly there's hope this could be the case. A post from Micah appears on social media, written in Polish.
Micah's friends had received Facebook messages from Micah saying, it's okay, I'm all right, I just need some space. But that hope was soon dashed when the friends had spoken to police to say that the messages they'd received weren't quite grammatically correct.
Some of her friends were questioning the grammatical use of Polish. It wasn't her usual way of speaking, as it were, on messages.
They couldn't see that Micah would have written them like that, and something just wasn't adding up.
Clearly, if she was sending these messages out, they weren't being sent by her.
But if it isn't her, then who is writing these messages? Detective suspicion that something sinister has happened to Micah grows, and they widen their inquiries and home in on certain people.
The persons of interest would have been the man from the pub who was allegedly having an affair with her, and indeed any other customers that would be regular customers in the pub, because if she's having an affair with somebody, there'll be other customers in the pub who will be able perhaps to provide some significant information with regard to their friendship.
Police trace the man Micah is suspected of having an affair with. He admits he had a drink with Micah on the night of her disappearance. He is questioned. Concerned by the latest development, Micah and Jonathan's friends and family rally round him.
Jonathan had called some friends and asked them to come round and give him support. They came round and they spent time with him.
4 days after Micah was reported missing, Kent police make a shocking announcement.
Police investigating the disappearance of 36-year-old Micah Cudworth have said they've made an arrest. The barmaid from Northbourne went missing 5 days ago and hasn't been sighted since. Police say they are growing increasingly concerned for Miss Cudworth's safety.
What's transpired, it was, yes, much worse than we thought.
Kent Police, where's your emergency?
it's my wife. She walked out early hours Wednesday morning. She ain't been back since.
In the Kent village of Northbourne, police investigating the disappearance of barmaid Micah Cudworth now suspect she may have been murdered. Believing messages Micah sent her friends after she went missing were actually sent by someone else, police question a man she was suspected of having an affair with.
The police released a statement to say that they'd arrested somebody, a man, in connection with Micah's disappearance.
But the man they arrested is not her suspected lover, but her husband, Jonathan Cudworth.
One of John's sisters said he'd been arrested, and I was like, what?
The news sends shockwaves across the village. How could this loving husband have anything to do with her disappearance?
It's hard to describe, really. It's just a lot of disbelief, I think.
The initial reaction for people in the immediate vicinity would be shock, surprise, nice couple.
When somebody's been arrested in connection with someone's disappearance, the public interest really does step up. That's what people then really start to talk about at the school gates, in the pub.
As rumours circulate around the village, it is revealed that Jonathan has been arrested on suspicion of GBH after police visited his house and noticed drops of blood by the front door, with Jonathan admitting that he had a minor altercation before Micah stormed off. Officers secure the house as a potential crime scene and carry out a search of an outbuilding.
And it was outside by the shed that they found some drops of blood.
Inside the outbuilding, officers discover a blood-stained doormat and cat basket. Both items are immediately seized and taken for forensic testing.
I would think that was the time that this became a homicide murder investigation.
Gradually, the realisation came that she may have actually been killed, and the police presence was becoming, in that sense, rather more sinister.
In custody, police believe the evidence points to Jonathan having more than just hit Micah.
During police interviews, he strenuously denied that he had anything to do with Micah's disappearance. Jonathan, he was a nice lad. He wasn't mean. I don't remember him being aggressive or angry or volatile.
Jonathan admits he has Micah's Facebook password and posted messages pretending to be from her in Polish. But he says it was to stop her friends from harassing him. He says the blood found was from a minor altercation. Police decide to charge him with murder. But there's one problem. 7 days since she was last seen, there's still no sign of Micah, dead or alive. Officers widen their search both inside Micah's home and the surrounding areas. And suddenly, there's a breakthrough. A large amount of blood is discovered in the sitting room beneath the rug. And more blood is found in the boot of the family car. Police discover Jonathan had bought the rug in nearby Sandwich after Micah had gone missing. Slowly, they start to piece together Jonathan's movements since Micah's disappearance. The search for her is becoming desperate, and the family turn to their friend Ali.
Ali Austin is a psychic. She was contacted by Jonathan's family and asked if she would be able to help in the search for Micah.
So to label myself, I'm a fortune teller. I'm a psychic, I'm a clairvoyant, a clairaudient. I see, hear and sense things. And a message came through, and it was from one of John's sisters. And it said, "Hi Ali, is there any chance you can do a reading for me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they were like, "Would you come out and search with us?" And I was like, "Of course I'm going to come out and search with you." And then we went off and we continued to search for 16, 17 hours a day.
We have known of a psychic being brought in before to help try to locate a body. The body has never been found, but sometimes that can be of help to the family because they feel that they're getting somebody to help them. When somebody has lost a member of their family, they will cling on to any kind of hope that they might still be alive. I just wanted to help this family. I was just like, these poor people, this is horrific. She needs to be laid to rest. And that was all I focused on.
As Ali joins the search for Micah, along with family and friends, police discover video evidence from the night following Micah's disappearance.
A friend of mine, he had a CCTV, which was pointing out to the road. And I think it was John said he didn't go out of the property on that particular night, but it proved to be just after 2 o'clock, I think, in the morning, there was this car going by.
Detectives believe the 10-minute trip is significant in their hunt for Micah and concentrate their search to a 5-minute drive of the house. Further CCTV from earlier that day also proves key to the case against Jonathan.
There was capture of CCTV images from various areas, which includes him in a shop buying cleaning materials and attending a deal pier, throwing items which turn out, we think, to be a handbag and a phone off the end of the pier.
I think that that's a vital cog, that it enabled this investigation to keep on turning and for them to find out what had actually happened.
With police believing the CCTV proves Jonathan is responsible for Micah's disappearance, it also shows he made a trip to a refuse tip with multiple large bags. The search for Micah shifts to a landfill site. As the police search spreads, Ali Austin is concentrating her search in Eastry, where Jonathan grew up.
Quite a few of us were out, and I was like, why don't I try dowsing? Dowsing is a method that has been used for centuries to find objects. Even when I say it, it sounds ridiculous, but we had nothing to lose. I was exhausted. We were in a field, and there was me and Jonathan's sisters, and I used this ring. So I took this ring, and you hold it. So we had this map, and I just got everyone to close their eyes and concentrate, and I was like, just say, Micah, like, where are you? So we were sitting there, and I'll be honest, even I'm like, this is ridiculous, you know, this is ridiculous. And the ring stopped on a point on the map, on a roundabout.
Ali and the family make their way to the roundabout and immediately begin to comb the surrounding fields.
I just remember pulling up, and I ran off away from my car, and it was a rape field, and it was like 5 foot high, and you can't move. I've never been in a rape field, you can't move in that stuff, it's all intertwined. And I remember like literally being like this in the field, running like in a zigzag. And then the next thing I know, I was standing on her. And she was in the field. So when I found her, I just remember screaming to everybody. I found her and told everybody not to move and not to come. But that was the point that her body had been abandoned, yes. And this is where we waited, and obviously at that point it was a crime scene. I didn't even think about what would happen if I did actually find her. I never gave that a thought. But then when I'm standing there, looking at her, 12 days after her life was taken, I can never unsee that.
Kent Police has said that the body of a woman found in a field near Eastry in Kent is that of missing 36-year-old Micah Cudworth.
The news that everyone feared has now become a reality.
There was a real sense of grief and loss. For that to happen was, really quite shocking for people and disturbing. It's a sort of incident you would more likely expect to happen in a big city.
It's a sad thing more than anything else. And Micah was suddenly not being here anymore. It was upsetting, and there was a certain disbelief with that. When you lose anybody in a community, it's tragic, very tragic.
Micah's body is taken to the mortuary, where a post-mortem is carried out to determine a cause of death.
The post-mortem reveals Micah was stabbed, I think, 4 times. It would appear she lost half the blood in her body. The injuries she sustained as a result of those stab wounds were clearly fatal.
With Jonathan already in custody, detectives turn their attention to the circumstances surrounding the discovery of Micah's body, and specifically Ali Austin's involvement.
This psychic comes into the frame. Used to go to school, I think, with Cudworth. She practices psychic medium, and apparently, as a result of some readings that she's done, she finds the body before the police. It's bizarre, absolutely bizarre. I would certainly be having the lady in questioning.
Suddenly, Ali Austin finds herself at the centre of a murder investigation.
I was told to present myself at Folkestone Police Station, and I rode to Folkestone Police Station on my motorbike next morning, and I was showed to a room, and there was 2 or 3 kind of like detectives there, and the next thing I know, they brought all these maps out, and they're going to me, put a black cross where your mum and dad's house is. So I was like, okay. So I looked at this massive aerial map. I put a black cross where my mum and dad's. They went, put a black cross where Jonathan Cudworth's mum and dad's house is. So I put a black cross where they live. Put a black cross where you found Micah. So I did that. And I remember at that point, something in my head going, this isn't right. This is not why are you asking me this? This is ridiculous. And then I asked for a break, and I went to get my cigarettes from my crash helmet, and they went, leave your helmet here. And I was like, pardon? And they were like, can you leave your helmet, please? And I was like, why, am I under arrest then? And they were like, no, but you're not allowed to leave.
Ali Austin's involvement sparks a lot of interest from the national media.
It had all of the ingredients for a juicy murder story. The first thing you think is, the husband's done it. But then, a psychic sniffs out a body. That is the sort of thing that, whether people believe it or not, they're interested in it and they want to read, they want to find out everything. It refreshed the story.
But Ali's potential involvement is soon eclipsed following a revelation that on the night of the 10th of May, Jonathan had called a family member from prison and made a startling admission.
He admitted to the crime, the killing.
During the call, Jonathan disclosed the area where he dumped Micah's body. Using this vital info, his family had then turned to Ali to help pinpoint the exact spot. Following this revelation, the police are happy she played no other part.
I do believe I was a suspect. I'm like, local psychic. Maybe I put her there and then wanted the glory of I found a body. Morally, that just rips my soul to pieces to think that at some point in a police interview room or a police station somewhere, I genuinely believe that I might have played a part been putting that woman there. But they don't know me. There was a lot of coincidences. You know, I can't deny that.
With Micah's body discovered and Jonathan charged, the question remains, why did this loving husband murder his wife? And how? Jonathan Cudworth has been charged with the murder of his wife, Micah. Despite the evidence against him, Jonathan pleads not guilty to murder. He claims diminished responsibility because of a momentary loss of control, and the case is sent for trial.
Having admitted to the killing and being charged with murder, it's then, of course, up to a judge and a jury, isn't it? That's all the police can do, is put forward the facts, the evidence that they can obtain, and any explanation that the defendant may give.
On the 7th December 2015, the trial begins at Canterbury Crown Court. And the question on everyone's lips is, what could have possibly led to Jonathan losing control and killing his wife, Micah?
John had a trust issues. You know, he didn't trust Micah. He thought Micah was having an affair.
My neighbour, said that there was problems, probably, with their marriage. He'd heard them arguing. She met somebody else, which was one of the reasons for the domestics.
So police found that Jonathan had been tracking Micah's whereabouts through a phone app, which suggests that he had a growing sense of paranoia about where she was, what she was doing, and who she was spending time with.
The court hears what Micah and Jonathan had been arguing about the night she was killed.
Jonathan had been questioning Micah about where she'd been and who she'd been with. And he lashed out in a jealous rage.
The jury hears Jonathan's prepared statement, claiming that Micah had admitted to an affair and was goading him aggressively. The defense being that he momentarily lost control.
Jonathan said that Micah had become aggressive, and he, as a reaction, had felt around for the weapon, and he'd hit her. This was some tragic crime of passion, that he was actually the victim of this really strong-willed woman that was having an affair. They rowed, he's gone mad, and he's put a knife in her.
The court is stunned to hear Jonathan's version of events. But had he really killed her in a moment of madness?
Crimes of passion, of course they can occur, None of us can say we haven't got it in us. There's people, they might do something in the heat of the moment, regret it, oh no, and go, oh my God, this has happened. It could happen to a lot of people in all different scenarios.
However, details from the post-mortem are read out in court, which questions Jonathan's defense, that he simply lashed out. Not only had Micah suffered a blunt force hit to the head, but she had bruises to her wrists and neck, along with a knife attack that the prosecution claim intended to end her life.
I realised that a crime of passion, a mistake, is maybe lashing out, pushing, shoving. Maybe he was cutting apples at the time, maybe he did have a knife in his hand. But she was stabbed 4 times. So she's been stabbed for her heart, and then continuously stabbed on the upper part of her body, which corresponds with what my eyes saw.
And soon it becomes clear that Jonathan has a checkered history with relationships.
Police subsequently found out that there was a loose history of domestic violence, which included another ex-girlfriend and Micah herself.
The court hears there had been one prior report to the police of a domestic verbal altercation between Jonathan and Micah.
Micah notified the police that she was a victim of domestic abuse and that she lived in fear of Jonathan. This wasn't a random crime of passion.
It appears Micah and Jonathan's relationship had broken down completely, and she had made plans to leave him.
Since speaking to her family and her friends, she'd visited Poland 2 weeks before her death. She was leaving him. She'd saved £700, hidden in a drawer. She was going to be free of him. It is alleged that she had met somebody else, and whether she was going to have a life with them, I don't know. And she was confident that it was over. She returned to England, ready to prepare to start her new life.
But before Micah could move on without Jonathan in her life, events conspired to stop her in her tracks on the night of the 29th of April.
She'd been working at the local pub and she came home sometime around 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Phone analysis from that evening reveals that Jonathan had become more and more irate as the evening wore on, and was continually asking where Micah was in text messages.
It transpired in court that after Jonathan had killed Micah, he dragged her body to a compost heap in the garden and left her there while he worked out how to dispose of her body. I believe she was behind the shed, and he covered her body in grass cuttings. Everyone was around, and that is where she lay.
On the next day, Cudworth then got rid of her handbag and phone off the end of the pier and bought some cleaning up materials from a local shop.
And then he loaded Micah's body into the back of the car and drove her off to the field where he disposed of her.
The following morning, Jonathan calls the police to report Micah missing.
Kent Police, where's your emergency?
It's my wife. She walked out early hours Wednesday morning. She ain't been back since.
So is she vulnerable in any way?
No, but she has been a bit down lately.
Okay.
The extent that Jonathan had gone to conceal the fact that he had taken Micah's life. He'd tried to cover his tracks by sending messages to her friends. I get the feeling from this behaviour that it's very calculated, it's cold, and it shows no remorse.
During a grueling trial at Canterbury Crown Court, the evidence against Jonathan appears overwhelming. A sustained, brutal attack on Micah, covering his tracks by disposing of Micah's body and her belongings, as well as a checkered history of past relationships. The jury retires to consider its verdict. Jonathan is found not guilty of Micah Cudworth's murder.
We were so surprised. We thought that there'd been such a strong case for murder against Jonathan, and to find out that he'd been found guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter.
As he admitted to stabbing and killing his wife before the trial, the jury accepts his version of events, that of killing her through diminished responsibility.
I think Mr. Cudworth was an extremely lucky person to get off a murder charge. Very lucky, I think, because I've seen cases where, similar sort of things, and jury come back guilty of murder.
With the lesser conviction of manslaughter, Jonathan is sentenced to 15 years in prison.
It's appalling. It is appalling. How can her life be worth 15 years? How do we stop this? How do we deter people from going that far? We need stricter sentences. A life should mean life.
Even with the case behind them, the local community still feel the impact of Micah's death.
The sad thing with an event like this is it just has really horrible consequences for everybody. For the families trying to move forward in this situation, and it leaves a scar on the community.
It's her resting place, isn't it? It's not ideal. I know her final resting place is now in Poland, as it should be, but it's where her story ended, isn't it? And it should never have been that way. She didn't deserve this. Regardless of whether or not she was leaving him, regardless of whether or not she was dating somebody else, the penalty that she paid was atrocious. And it will stay with us, it will stay with me. It's an absolute tragedy, and it's a tragedy for our community.